One of the things that happened in Lubavitch is that the Rebbe sent Bochrim Shluchim to different Lubavitch yeshivas over the world. Already in Tovshin Chov Beis, the Rebbe sent a group of Shluchim to Eretz Yisrael, a group of Bochrim Shluchim to Brunei, to France, and later on, in a stronger Eifon, it was Tovshin Chov Zayin when he sent Shluchim to Australia. And then later, Tovshin Lamadalad, when the Rebbe sent Bochrim Shluchim to the yeshiva in Miami. And the whole purpose of them being sent was to be mechazik the yeshivas, to strengthen the yeshivas, which should be done through learning Torah. That's what the Rebbe wanted. They should themselves learn Torah there. And also be Neir Lahoyer, be a shining light to help others, which means to help the Bochrim Yeshiva and to bring light into the community. That's the job of the Shluchim. And really the whole thing was basically because the yeshivas needed chizuk. Actually, when it came to the second group of Shluchim to Miami, we were talking about it. I wrote to the Rebbe something about it. So the Rebbe answered me, this is the Nekuda Bechlolis, that Be'etzem, what he wants is that we shouldn't have to send Shluchim. That the Shluchim are only there when it starts to be mechazik the yeshiva. But the yeshiva should already start standing on its own feet, that you shouldn't have to send Shluchim. And I heard that the Rebbe did that also concerning Australia once he wanted to stop sending Shluchim because you don't need a Shluchim anymore. Nevertheless, it didn't work out, and the Rebbe continued sending Shluchim to the yeshivas. And it's all for them to bring a chizuk to the yeshiva, to learn themselves, and to learn with others, and to bring light around themselves to be Neiros Lahoyer. One year, the Bochrim, actually in Miami, some of the Shluchim, had a disagreement with the Anhole. Now, I could say they meant L'Shem Shemayim. They really meant because they felt certain things have to be changed. But it was done in a way that they made a whole tumult and things like that. And finally it got to the Rebbe. And this is what the Rebbe wrote. And I'll quote the Lashon of the Rebbe's answer. Sof sof tolk sof kol sof. You should make a seder al dvar habachurim sheyichishom concerning the bochrim who are there. Lahasbirom, to explain to them shenishloch ushom elil matayra, that they were sent there to learn Torah. Dash. Obeim eiskim bepolitike kayetze bezen. If they're involved in politics and things like that, eini muchan lekachas al atzmei bittul Torah shelehem betir shluchim. I'm not ready to take up on myself, the Rebbe says, their bittul Torah as shluchim. Another dash. V'yachzeru behegdem lahamokim shemishom nishlocha. Let them go back as fast as possible to the place that they were sent from. V'kal v'dal. V'kal means v'kal lahovin. It's very easy to understand. It's not such a deep thing. It's very obvious. And v'dal means that dai lemavin. It's enough to say this. In other words, there's more to it, but it's enough if I say this. Now, this is a very, very sharp answer. So L'Poel, obviously, everyone took it serious and they knew what they have to do. But this brought out another point. Because sometimes after things get into a seder, you forget the importance of it and the whole concept of them being shluchim, that really they are shluchim from the Rebbe. It's only bochrim, it's only for a short while, etc. You get the feeling that maybe that's not a real shlichus. When the Rebbe wrote this brought such a feeling that as much as the Rebbe criticized, so to speak, but nevertheless here the Rebbe expressed clearly that they are shluchim, and he sent them, and he takes achrayas for them. He said, if it's like this, I cannot take achrayas. But obviously this shows that be'etzem the Rebbe takes achrayas for the bochrim shluchim. This shows the great schus that the bochrim shluchim have, but also shows what their job has to be. The way the Rebbe establishes is the main thing is to strengthen the yeshiva. And that's why the Rebbe was thinking that if eventually you should stop sending shluchim, but it didn't work out. In other words, the Rebbe, I guess, agreed that the chizuk of the yeshiva is always good, and the Rebbe continues, that's their job, to learn Torah and to be Neiros Lahoyer. But then later, a few years later, there was actually a sikha about this inyan, and that will be in the next voice note.